win, go win, go win, go win, go win, win, go win.
Let's go to Detroit. Let's talk about an NFC North battle as Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers beat Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions 31-24 on Thanksgiving for the Packers. Jordan Love, he went 18 for 30. He threw for 234 passing yards, 4 touchdowns for the Lions. Jared Goff, he went 20 for 26. He threw for 256 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Jameson Williams had 7 receptions, 144 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. So, I want to personally give a round of applause to Green Bay Packers head coach Matt Lafleur. Matt, thank you. Matt Lafleur in this game against the Detroit Lions. Matt Lafleur was aggressive as the Packers head coach, and he allowed Jordan Love to cook. And look at the results. Jordan Love was balling in this game. Jordan Love, 18 for 30, over 230 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. And the key in this game was Matt Lafleur was aggressive the entire football game. And that's why I want to give a big shout out to my head coach and say, thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt Lafleur, because Matt Lafleur finally understood the assignment and became aggressive. And in this game, the only difference in this game between the Packers and the Lions was the Packers' effectiveness on 4th down and the Lions' ineffectiveness on 4th down. The Packers were 3 for 3 on 4th down in this game. 2 of those 4th down conversions were touchdowns. And Jared Goff and Dan Campbell, they were 0 for 2 on 4th down. That was the biggest difference in the game. Both of these offenses were playing at an elite level in this Thanksgiving Day matchup. The Lions had 20 first downs. The Packers had 18 first downs. Okay? The Packers were 6 for 12 on 3rd downs. The Lions were 8 for 13. The Packers had 125 rushing yards. The Lions had 119 rushing yards. The Packers had 234 passing yards. The Lions had 233 passing yards. And the Packers had 359 total yards. The Lions had 352 total yards. So this game was an evenly matched football game between 2 good football teams. But Matt LaFleur's aggressiveness is what won this game for the Green Bay Packers. And Matt LaFleur pulled a Dan Campbell on Dan Campbell. So big shout out to Matt LaFleur, my head coach, for being aggressive and allowing Jordan Love to cook. I remember coming on the show 3 weeks ago. It was fresh off of the 10-7 loss the Packers suffered to the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 10. And at that moment, the Packers offense, they were broken. They had previously, in Week 9, only scored 13 points against the Carolina Panthers, and they scored only 7 points against the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 10 on a Monday night. And I had to come on here and admit that the Packers offense was broken. And in the last 3 weeks, the Packers scored 27 on the Giants in Week 11. They scored 23 on the Vikings in Week 12. And in Week 13, on Thanksgiving Day, the Packers hung 31 points on the Detroit Lions in prime time. And to me, the biggest reason why the Packers offense is back is because Matt LaFleur has given the keys to Jordan Love. And to me, when you look at Jordan Love in this particular game, against the Lions, this is Love on deep passes. He went 4 for 6, 126 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, passer rating 149.3. And in the first 11 games, he had 1 touchdown, 1 interception on deep passes. So in this game alone against the Lions, Jordan Love was dealing. And that touchdown pass that Jordan Love threw to Christian Watson up the right sideline, that was a beauty from Jordan Love. That dart that Love threw to Watson up the right sideline, I thought my neighbors was going to knock on my door on Thanksgiving because I was screaming in my apartment complex. I was screaming. Like, that's the Jordan Love that we have known over the years who makes big plays. And in this particular game on Thanksgiving, this is Jordan Love in the first quarter compared to the rest of the game. In the first quarter, he went 4 for 9, 37 passing yards. His passer rating was 56.2. The rest of the game, he went 14 for 21. He threw for 197 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and 136 passer rating. But this is really right on cue for Jordan Love. When you look at Jordan Love, since he's been a starter, Jordan Love in weeks 11 or later, he's 14-5. He completes 67% of his passes. His touchdown to interception ratio is 34-2. His passer rating is 110.5. That touchdown to interception ratio and passer rating is the best all time week 11 or later. It's Toyota-thon. So yes, Jordan Love takes his game up a notch and the Packers offense goes from good to elite. And I think right now, Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers are rolling offensively. And here's the thing. The Packers are going to get back Jaden Reed and Matthew Golden, okay? And defensively, they're going to get back Quay Walker. And big shout out to defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley and the way this Packers defense has performed this season, led by Micah Parsons. You look at the Packers defensive ranks this year, the Packers, they only give up 301 total yards per game. That's ranked 4th in the NFL. They only give up 187 passing yards per game. That's ranked 6th in the NFL. And they only give up 19 points per game. That's ranked 5th in the NFL. And in this particular game, I thought Micah Parsons arguably had his best performance of the season. I mean, in this game alone, Micah Parsons, he had 4 tackles. He had 2.5 sacks. He dominated that Lions offensive line. They had no answers for Micah Parsons. And this is why the Packers made the trade for Micah Parsons, because the Packers want to get a lead and allow Micah Parsons to be their closer. And that's exactly what happened in this particular football game. Josh Jacobs in this game, he wasn't great. 17 carries, 83 rushing yards. He still hasn't had a game this year where he's had over 100 yards rushing. But I know how great Josh Jacobs is. And I am happy that the Packers are managing Josh. I want Josh healthy for the playoff run because the Packers are going to make the playoffs. And I want Josh Jacobs healthy once the Packers get into the postseason, because they're going to need Josh Jacobs. But, man, I was so happy with Matt Lafleur and Jordan Love in this particular game. And I thought that the Packers offense was rolling. And also, you look at the Packers overall in 2025 compared to 2024. In 2024, within the division, the Packers were 1-5. This season, they are 3-0. Last year, the points per game differential, they were a minus 3.0. This year, they are a plus 12.7. So the Packers' goal coming into the season was to win their division games. And they are 2-0 and they have swept the Detroit Lions, and they beat the Vikings in Week 12. Now, the Packers have two huge matchups against the Chicago Bears in Week 14 and in Week 16. That's going to determine who wins the division. That's going to determine who wins the division. So I could not be more happy as a Packers fan. And I think they are heading in the right direction as a football team. As for the Lions, they did lose Amon-Ra St. Brown in this game. Now, Jameson Williams stepped up with his 7 receptions, 144 receiving yards, and 1 touchdown performance. But I think the Detroit Lions are in trouble. I think when you look at the Detroit Lions, 2 years ago, they had an opportunity to reach the Super Bowl. They had a double-digit lead in the NFC Championship game against the San Francisco 49ers. And they had a total collapse in the second half of that game. Last year, they got completely boat raced by Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders in the divisional round of the playoffs last year. And last year, I thought they had a better season in 2024 than they had in 2023. And now this year, we look at the Detroit Lions, they are in a position where they might miss the playoffs. Because I think right now in the NFC North, by the Packers beating the Lions, the Packers and the Bears are going to compete to see who wins the NFC North. The Lions have no chance to win the NFC North. Their only chance to reach the postseason is by making the wild card, by getting in as a wild card team. And I'm looking at the Lions' schedule. Week 14, they are home against the Cowboys on Thursday night. That could be a potential loss. Week 15, they are in LA against Matthew Stafford in the Rams. That could be a potential loss for the Lions. Week 16, they are home against the Steelers. Y'all know how I feel about the Steelers. I think the Lions will beat the Steelers in Week 16. Week 17, they are in Minnesota. That's a division game. Vikings are going absolutely nowhere, but you never know. And then Week 18, they are in Chicago. So the Lions have 3 of their 5 final games that are potential L's. The only games I see them winning for sure are the Steelers and the Vikings. So they are in trouble. And if they can't run the football, they will not be a playoff team. And they sit here at 7-5. Their offensive line is banged up. They are not the same offensive line this season like they have been in previous years. Micah Parsons had 2.5 sacks. Now, the only thing for the Packers, too, I will say that a key loss was Devontae Wyatt, the defensive tackle. That's a huge loss for the Packers. But Week 14 against the Bears, Packers will get back Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden, and Quay Walker as well. Go, Pack, go. My Packers swept the Detroit Lions. All my cousins up there in Detroit, Uncle Johnny, everybody up there, Ricky, we swept the Lions this year. Go, Pack, go. And I know we got the Bears next week in Lambeau. We got the Bears next week. Mojo, the comedian. Mojo, I know you a Bears fan, bro. But the Bears got to come to Lambeau in Week 14. And when they get on the frozen tundra, it's going to be a different story for them Chicago Bears when they come to Green Bay Sunday afternoon in Lambeau. Go, Pack, go. Big win for the Pack over the Lions on Thanksgiving, 31-24.